Good evening humans, TyrannosaurusMoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the Doom Eternal classic Doomslayer figure from McFarlane Toys. I have been waiting for a Doom Guy figure since the original game came out, back in the early 90s, and technically we still don't have that, but this is the closest we've gotten, and honestly there is a lot to love here. However, there are still some frustrations that do carry over from the original Doomslayer figure that McFarlane has done, and unfortunately that makes some of the high points even more frustrating. We'll get into it, so let's talk about this figure. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, this figure looks badass. I mean, they really hit all the notes, and obviously this is completely based off the classic Doomslayer skin from Doom Eternal, not 100% the original Doom Guy look. However, I mean, they definitely did a good job of kind of cleaning it up, make it a little more, like, I guess, believable. And that definitely translates here into the figure. And I mean, they nailed it. The sculpt just looks great. Like, all the proportions are right. It just, like, it looks very, very sturdy. It feels sturdy. And yeah, I mean, they nailed the helmet. That was kind of one of the most important things for me. I think, like, in color, in tone, just it looks right. And not only that, but the shade of green they have on here on both the pants and the armor just looks right. They even got the torn shirt piece at the abs, like, just really cool looking. And it isn't translating too well here on camera, at least not as I'm seeing it right now. But I think they went a little too green with the gloves, especially from the promo photos, where obviously if you've played the original Doom, those are supposed to be kind of a lighter brown. And yeah, these are just kind of they are brownish, but there's definitely a very strong green undertone that kind of, doesn't look wholly accurate. But beyond that, everything else just really well done here, with really great textures with the pants and the boots. Just some nice, like, heaviness to it. I love the sculpt of the feet piece, bottom parts of the boots rather. And yeah, just overall, like, kick-ass looking figure. Not too much to speak of when it comes to accessories. However, accessories are not McFarlane's strongest point with their figure lines, so to be expected. And so what we do get here is our requisite figure stand, just with the Doom logo, the modern Doom logo, just in kind of plain white. As you can see, just flat black disc does the job. Then we get a couple of weapons, and I question including this one just because it was on the figure at first, but we do get the arm blade, and obviously it is removable, so that's why I kind of ultimately decided to do that. And that just plugs into the bottom of the arm here. You can see the hole, and yeah, that just kind of plugs in right there. I'm trying to do this on camera, so it's not going to be as successful, but there we go, it fits. And then finally, we get the Doom Eternal Super Shotgun. So very well detailed, just kind of a plain gunmetal sort of silver with a little bit of gold here for the graspers, and that kind of nice tape on the handle, and that's about it. So yeah, really nicely done, but very straightforward. So that's accessories. Okay, articulation. Here is where the majority of my frustrations lie, and that is because 2/3 of the articulation here is beautiful, and then the last third absolutely doesn't absolutely kill it, but it definitely makes a dent and kind of drags it down. And so let's get into it, and we'll talk about it as we go. So as you can see, balance was absolutely fantastic. We get to the head, and just so much good range, like, looking not completely up, but definitely up enough. We get all the way down. We get really, really nice tilt because of whatever type of joint it's got to be a barbell joint of some sort, but, like, really just all the way around, fantastic. It feels really good to articulate too. It feels solid, awesome. We come to the shoulders, hinge and swivel, pretty standard, and come out into our T, so that's good. And then we start to fall apart here, so no bicep swivel whatsoever. Single jointed elbows, bringing us to there. You can kind of see there's a groove in it, so you can get a little more range if you want to, but you're still only getting to 90. This, I'm honestly just, the limbs on this are really kind of what drag it down for me. And just, yeah, you get your rotation from the shoulder here, but, like, that like, you just can't do much with that. Not to mention the fact that, again, it's a McFarlane figure, so you're only getting a single set of hands that rotate and hinge. Not only that, but the hinge, I don't know why they did this, but you can see that little notch there. It doesn't get in the way of holding the gun, which I kind of thought it would, but yeah, just kind of unsightly. And yeah, so it is what it is. But then we move down, we get to the torso. We have a ball joint at the diaphragm, tons of movement. We have a ball joint at the hips, tons of movement. Like, oh man, it's just so fun to move. And you get, like, look at that, gorgeous crunch, fantastic arch, just like so good. I mean, again, like pretty much this entire line is just so fantastic. Oh, and I'll come up to the cannon here on the shoulder. We're on a swivel there. We have a kind of swivel here, and then a ball joint for the actual cannon piece of it, which is nice. Then we come down to, oh, and our rotation is also coming from those two ball joints up here. So again, really good torso. Come down the hips, full splits, just absolutely beautiful. Like, you can't beat that. We also get our thigh swivel there, which is just really well done. Then we get to the knees and single jointed again, and the sculpt gets in the way. You can't even get 90. Like, that's frustrating. So yeah, so there's that. And then we get to the feet, and again, sculpt's gonna get in the way, so we can come forward decently and can't really point at all, pardon the lack of focus here. And you know, we really don't even get any rocker because you can't move that joint around. So really, my points of contention here, I'm just gonna say, like, really, the elbows and the knees kind of kill any like real poses you could have gotten here. And that's really a shame because everything else here is great. It's so close to being really good. And yeah, it just, those two things kind of take me out of the experience. So that's Articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here he is with a couple of McFarlane Toys monsters. With some Hasbro. With some imports. With some monsters. Finally, with an Articulated Icons Oni and yours truly in human form as an Articulated Icons Ninja. So my final thoughts on the classic Doomslayer from McFarlane Toys is that I'm conflicted. I'm more conflicted than I've been in a long time because there is a lot of really good stuff going on with this figure. However, and I freely admit that this is because I've been waiting so long for a classic Doom Guy figure that just it gets marred by basically it's double jointed elbows and knees away from being a top 5 of the year figure, and it kind of gets relegated to honorable mentions just because that it limits the posability so much. And you know, that there's just like sculpt, paint, all of that absolutely on point, except for the gloves. But yeah, just looks really good. And you know, the articulation from the torso to the hips is like head, torso, hips, absolutely nailed it. Everything else drops the ball, and that kind of just, oh man, I want to love this figure so bad, but just so I guess for me, like my dream, my long shot dream is that either Mafex or Boss Fight Studio somehow gets the ability to do an original Doom Guy figure. Probably won't happen, but in the more like kind of realm of possibility, I think if Storm Collectibles got the license and was able to do it, they'd absolutely knock it out of the park. This is definitely a good holdover, and like I'm happy to have this on my shelf as a classic Doom Guy, but I want a company that's gonna nail it to do it and just give us the figure that we need with like not only the articulation that this is so close to, but also all the accessories and all of that. So yeah, I guess my final thoughts are, you know, if you have been waiting as long as I have for a classic Doom Guy, then hunt one of these down. Unfortunately, this is a McFarlane Toys online store exclusive, and last I checked, it is sold out. I'm still going to put a link to the page below, just so it's there for reference in case it ever goes up again. But I think your only hope right now is the secondary market. So I wish you the best of luck, because I don't know really what it's like, because I haven't even checked it out. But I hope that everyone that wants to get this is able to get it, because, you know, if you've been looking for this, then, you know, I hope you're able to get your hands on it, and to know that I am pulling for you, because I want everyone that wants toys of certain characters to get them. That's the beauty of collecting, is like having these things that you wanted. So yeah, that being said, I hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and or sharing. And beyond that, if you want to help me even more, there'll be ways to do that at the bottom of the description as well. So please, please, please check those out. And with all of that being said, ultra thanks to you one last time for watching, and I hope you take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and most importantly, stay weird, simians.